Oh, what's up, brothers and sisters? What's happening? What's going on? Like my man Ice Cube. What's happening, everybody? Pastor Dixon here, sending out much love to everybody tonight. Let me get a minute to tag some folks. Good to see some folks already on. Let me give some folks some shout outs right quick. Hopefully we can get some folks on tonight. Some trying times we live in, folks, and that's for sure. At 68 years old, forgive me, my brother, for just tagging you, but at 68 years old, nearly 68 years old, let me back that off a little bit. I've seen some things in my day. I've lived through quite a bit, and I thank God for all that I've lived through and where He's brought me to. You know, especially to be in the location and in the place that I am at this particular time. But let there be no doubt in our collective minds that this season is one of the most challenging that I've ever encountered in my 67, nearly 68 years on God's good earth. This is different. This is different, you know. And, you know, many of you all know, well, I never make it a qualm about it. You know, I am a Democrat, okay, and I do have my issues with the Republican Party. But, you know, overall, I think I could really handle the Republican Party. It's that one that's at the top right now. And so when I talk about trying times, you know, since the election in 2016 and the inauguration in 2017, to see what words am I looking for? I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, but to see the Oval Office, the White House, our top position of honor, dignity, and respect in America abused the way it has been over the last 3.5 years. And now here we are deep inside of a global pandemic. It's just been it's a testing. It's a trying time, you know. And I really thank God for the ability to navigate through these trying times and to continue to try to be an encouragement and a blessing to others. And also to know that as I continue to tag people, so if I'm looking away and whatever, not necessarily doing anything, I'm still tagging some folks. But to be able to continue to have great people, not good people, but great people like you in my life, it's just, you know, really for me, I think it's the only way that I'm able to move forward is to continue to have people who draw on, live in, and support the good that's in each other. The need for us to truly to be our brother and sisters keepers. Okay, let me get a couple more here just to see what's going on, and we'll chop it up from there. All right, I think that's good right there. We'll let it go. As they say, Yahtzee. Okay, all right. Oh, yes, good evening, everybody, once again. What's happening? What's happening? Let me back this up, see who's on. Got some good folks. Elder Carly Town. Man, the elder in the house, good to see you. Sean, what's happening? Amy, good evening. Tamaine, Jerry, Amy, peace be still. Man, I love it, especially in the the day and age and the times that we're in a time where there is chaos and confusion, disorder, and negativity, and all of these other different soul burdening terms that we can describe today's day and age we live in, to see just a name that says peace be still. And that's great. Ray, what's going on? Natanya, what's going on? I see you out there doing big things. You with the teachers. You and you too, Erica. I see you. I know y'all for sure. Tamia, good to see you. Lisa, what's happening? Man, that scene that you posted up at the beach and the secluded, man, that's the Calgon commercial. What did the Calgon commercial say? Calgon, take me there. Lord, for sure. For sure. Yeah, we all we got. That's the bottom line. And the sooner we as a global community understand that we all we got, the better off we all gonna be. Unfortunately, right now, we're still working toward that. We've been pushing it, but we got to keep on pushing it. We got to push it and push it harder. Samuel, what's going on? Melissa, hello. Michelle, Shauna Leah off the West Coast, praying for you and Izan. Continuing to pray. Lisa out of Diamond, LAW for sure. Good to see you. All righty. Yes, now is the time. Let there be no doubt about it. And I'm going to actually touch on that a little bit later. Now is the time. I don't believe that things happen by chance, even when it comes to something like this pandemic. Sister Soldier in the house. What's going on? How you doing, Wanda? All right. Jesse, my North Charleston City Council District 6 representative. You know, I don't care who they elected. Jesse Williams, my North Charleston City Council District 6 representative. But it's time. I don't believe that things just happen. I believe that there are reasons why. I believe that we are being motivated to move in a certain direction. But I'm going to get into that a little bit more in a few minutes. Yes, Lisa, definitely. Yeah, after the Friday event, I've withdrawn quite a bit in conforming to what the regulations that have been put out. I've been limiting my travel and everything. Of course, I can't just not, just stop doing what I'm doing, but I'm being extremely cautious in what I'm doing. Okay. And I don't know whether you all, would know it or feel me on this. I feel like I have not only an obligation to my family, but also to the community in which we live, to make sure that that I'm doing the right things in order to stay healthy. Yes, to stay healthy. But I can't neglect the community either. That's for sure. Stephanie, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Mask and gloves. Well. I'm doing the social distancing thing. One of the things that I really never did understand was why they didn't widely promote use of gloves anyway. Anytime we were out in public, to have gloves on and make sure you didn't touch your face or anything with the gloves. But once in a safe environment, pull the gloves off and throw them away. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Aisha, what's going on? Please tell Timothy I said what's happening, okay? And for the little ones, for sure. You be safe out there, Aisha. Please. Thank you for the service that you do to our community, for our community as a healthcare professional. Miss Taz, what's going on? What's happening? Okay, good to see you. All right, much love to you and Atoy and to the rest of the family, Charlotte and Renee, everybody. Okay. I'm going to give everybody a couple of more minutes and I'm going to get on into this. Sally Beauty Supply has them, huh, Lisa? Well, you just directed me straight on over there. as they say, straight on over there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, give a couple more people a chance to get on. William, what's happening? And we're going to just dive right into this thing. Okay, so, yeah, as we try to figure out what's going on. And, it's not an easy thing when we ask that question. Marvin asked that question 1971 in his hit album, What's Going On. I mean, a double-sided LP. And I know I'm dating myself by talking about LPs. It's when they had vinyl, everything was vinyl. But a two-sided album, and it was talking about the social structure in 1961, in the waning times of the Vietnam War, the dissensions and the protests that were going on in America. A lunatic that was, let me say, a moralist person who was in the White House. It was a whole lot going on during that period of time, and yeah. Donovan, what's going on? Lawrence, what's going on, brother Lawrence? All right. A whole lot going on in that time. And Marvin had actually withdrawn from society, from Motown and everything, and sort of like gone into a shell. And when they would interview Marvin at that time, and Marvin would come out of this bag and say, man, but that darn war. They'd ask him a question about something else, and he'd be like, man, the people in the streets, give them answers that they thought was something wrong with Marvin. He's smoking too much or something. But the reality was, in Marvin's heart, Marvin was burdened for the state of affairs globally, and especially within his home nation of America. He had spent a lot of time overseas and was burdened with it, and something led him to write this phenomenal album that was a total departure from the Motown scene. And I think Smokey Robinson said we got to be crazy to try to put this music out, or Berry Gordy, or one of them. But it was a phenomenal album dealing with the war situation, violence in the streets, police brutality, the environment, our ecology, wages, poverty. It covered all of the social justice issues of the day. And remember, he released this in 1971. And my good friends, Marvin's words, that two sides of that album, they're just as relevant today as they were when he first released it in 1971. What is that, 49 years ago? Just as relevant today as they were then. What's going on? What's going on? Mothers. There's too many of you crying, and brothers. There's far too many of you dying. We got to find a way to bring some love in here today. That's universal today. It's no different. It's no different. Now, that was a direction I really wasn't planning on going to right now. Okay. Lynette, what's going on? All righty. William, all right. LT, what's happening? Good to see you. Michelle, good evening. Zelda, Brother Andrew Knapp, what's happening? How's it going? Praying it's all is well with you and the little ones. Okay. Yeah. I actually went off on a tangent then while I was waiting on folks to get on board here right quick. But it's a reality. And I'm going to actually, I think I'm going to take one live, not this one, but one live. And I'm going to just focus on Marvin's album, what's going on as related to what's happening today. The gospel according to Marvin Gaye. We're going to have a sermon message on the gospel according to Marvin Gaye, 1971. What's going on? Yes. Mercy me. So, Jamie, what's happening? Tanya, what's happening? I started out by talking about the dark cloud, I guess you could call it, that seems like it's over the world today because of what's going on with the coronavirus. Actually, I started talking about the dark cloud that's been created because of the occupant of our White House, but I'm going to leave that alone, And let me go to the global dark cloud that's been created because of a pandemic that we're in right now that's called COVID-19, COVID 19, or the novel coronavirus. Okay. I know a week ago I mentioned coronavirus and somebody said, man, I'll take a 6-pack of Coronas any day. That just showed where our level of consciousness was at a week ago. Here we are a week later, though, and we're a couple of steps shy of pandemonium and panic, but people are definitely taking this virus and the lethality of it seriously now, okay? Before I go any further, I want to make sure that right now, up front, I want to thank some folks for the work that they're putting in. First off and foremost, I want to thank our healthcare workers, our doctors, our nurses, our environmental services people, our housekeepers that's in the hospitals, our food service workers. Oh, they did put New York on a curfew, William? Okay, all right. Coming soon to a state near you or a county near you for sure. But healthcare workers. These are people that are gifted with a drive to care for people. How else can you explain the fact that in spite of the dangers that are known about this virus and the unknown realities about this virus that we don't know much about it. We don't know anything about who's carrying the virus or anything like that. We don't know how susceptible anyone is or whatever. Everything is fluid right now as far as it. But these healthcare workers, these men and women who have been gifted with a desire to serve humanity by working in the healthcare field, they get up, they leave their families, and they go into the hospitals and to the nursing homes and wherever their services are needed, and they render the best care that they can in these situations. I'm not going to say without regard for their own life and limb, because in here somewhere, there's got to be just that thought, I could really contract this disease and possibly even die. What about if I pick this thing up off my clothes and take it home to my kids? They live with that. And also they take the necessary precautions in order to try to minimize the possibility of either them getting sick or them by transmission taking that virus home and infecting their own households. Yes, they work smart. But the thing is, if they weren't dedicated to what they do, they would not do it. That's right, William, putting themselves at risk. Yvette, good to see you. Man, what's going on, Yvette? Yep, all righty, everybody. They put themselves in harm's way in order to serve others and to help them to get out of harm's way. And that's a powerful testimony right there. And I'm not just talking about just our nurses or doctors. My wife's a respiratory therapist, our radiologists, and then our food service people who work in the hospitals, because they go there too. And they're exposed to this, and also environmental services, maintenance, all of these different workers who keep hospitals running, EMS workers, nurses' aides, those who work in nursing facilities. Yep. Special. And we should never neglect acknowledging them and what they do, as well as not just our healthcare workers, but also our law enforcement officers and our officers and our fire department workers, those who work with the fire department. Charnel, what's going on? How are you? Good. Our those who work in our fire department, always on the job. I went to Sam's earlier today. Y'all don't fuss, please. Y'all don't fuss, because it's within the guidelines. I maintained my social distancing and everything, and I touched as little as possible while I was there. But I had to get little supplies, okay? When I came out, I saw one of North Charleston's finest drive past, and he just waved out of the window and acknowledged it. And I was like, man, thank you. And by this time, he had gotten out his vehicle. I was like, man, I really appreciate you. Appreciate you being out on the streets. So when you see our law enforcement officers and our firemen out here working, who I'm sure would rather be at home, but because that same gifting that they have in their profession impels them or compels them to get out and do their job and to make the city a safer place for everyone, we must acknowledge them and remember them. And I cannot. Oh, absolutely, absolutely, man. That there's nothing like it. Healthcare workers, my utmost respect, nothing but respect, as well as with law enforcement officers, firemen, and I would be remiss if I didn't drop that big shout out to our teachers out there. Man, again, a gifting. People whose specific talent and gifting gives them that drive, that inner drive to serve our community by serving our children through the educational process. Not because of, but in spite of. In spite of the fact that there's a coronavirus out here that they could be infected by, in spite of the fact that the schools have shut down, in spite of the fact that they're in a virtual world that they've never worked in before and they're still trying to make it happen, in spite of the fact that there are places where their personal services can be used, we see them one by one by one by one. I see you, Natanya. I see you, Sydney. I see all of y'all stepping up to the plate and saying, use me. Where can I go to exhibit my skill at? I see you. And it's a powerful testimony. Powerful. And it takes someone with that gifting in their heart, that special someone, that one who it is not because of, but in spite of, who will still serve and seek to educate our children. Y'all something else, man, and I love every one of y'all. I have got to stop and just give out the shout outs. Healthcare workers, law enforcement officers, firemen, all of our essential services, okay, our teachers, yeah. And of course, and I would be remiss if I didn't say it, our elected officials also, okay. Sometimes we bump heads. Sometimes, can I bump my own fist? Is that all right? Is that allowed? Okay. Sometimes we bump heads. I'm that one that sometimes don't get along with everybody, but that's all right. I love them, and I know they love me too. We just don't always see eye to eye. But we got to give them a shout out too, because many of them have been working extra long hours since this thing hit. Extra long. Some spend days away from their families, trying to ensure the safety and security of the communities that they were elected to serve. Not all, but some. Some do this. Some take that pledge, that oath that they gave extremely seriously to serve and to protect their community. And they do what it takes in order to make that happen. Yes, sir. Aaron, what's going on? Travis, what's happening? Brother William Hamilton. Faye, how you doing? All right. Ebony, our elected officials, we cannot just push them by the wayside. And I'm not talking about the quality of services or political affiliations or anything like that right now, okay? Because there are those who appear not to be doing the right thing, okay? Joe Nathan, what's going on? Who appear to be doing the right thing, but in their heart they feel like they're doing the right thing, It's not necessarily the right thing, but they're trying. They're trying, and we got to acknowledge that, because it's not an easy thing to be in the position of an elected official and the responsibility of the welfare of the people being on those shoulders. And then you have people who always expect you to get it right. But then again, you ain't no more of a human than they are, for sure. Then we have other elected officials who act like, a broke clock. They can't get it right but twice a day. But that's neither here nor there. We're not even going to go there today, okay? It's all good. It's all good. So updates on the coronavirus. Okay. Yesterday, Some of you all have been with me since last week when I started. Jeff, I got to get back in touch with you. Good to see you. Pamela, good to see you also. Okay. Julie, good to see you. Yes. Yesterday, my friends, was the deadliest day so far in the United States for the COVID-19 novel coronavirus. The deadliest day. Okay. We had 5,894 new cases as of yesterday. And remember, I've said it consistently over this time. There's a lot more of that out here that's undiagnosed because people aren't being tested, haven't been tested, and in many cases, we don't even have the tests available to test people. And we're working with a virus that has at least a 14-day incubation period where people can be affected by someone who doesn't even know they have the virus. There are no symptoms within that 14 days, and that person is just as contagious as if it was full blown. So when I talk about 4,894 new cases, those are the diagnosed cases. That number could be quadrupled, or I don't know what is that, 10 times, 20 times as many. We don't know. We don't know. And that's part of the confusion that we're dealing with within this. I think that when I was on here 2 days ago, on Sunday, I said that in the United States, after 2 weeks, I remember that first death, a little over 2 weeks ago, I believe, reported death in Washington State. And now 2 weeks later, on Sunday, I reported that we had like 50 deaths, I think it was. I reported on Sunday. Total deaths in the United States attributed to the coronavirus as of today, 106. It's more than doubled. Okay? More than doubled. And whereas on Sunday there were 49 states reporting cases, all 50 states now, including West Virginia, are reporting cases. South Carolina has experienced its first coronavirus-related death. Kurt, what's going on, Kurt? Cool, Kurt in the house. Captain Searson, how you doing? All right, all right. J.D. Davis, all right. Fran, all righty. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to talk to everyone, Fran, that's for sure. I just pray that it's not just talk, that we'll all just take the information to heart, and then as our officials lay down guidelines, that we adhere to those guidelines, because doing something will always beat doing nothing. And we do not have the luxury of doing nothing with this virus. This virus is deadly. It's deadly. And it's moving swiftly. All 50 states now are reporting cases, and South Carolina has just had its first, it might even be a second, confirmed death due to coronavirus. Nationwide, people, across the nation, 38 million students are out of school now, have been kept out of school. And there's a reason for that. It's because of the concept of social distancing. In other words, when our kids go to school, they interact with each other and everything. How many of y'all know, how many of y'all done got sick because your kids just went to regular school, daycare or something like that? Them kids contract stuff from each other and they bring it home. So in order to minimize that, the World Health Organization, the CDC, the experts say that one of the best ways to minimize that problem is to shut the schools down. Let the children stay at home so they don't come together, interact, and possibly contract or bring this coronavirus into their classrooms and spread it to others, who in turn will take it home. Okay? And there are those who are fighting about that, but it's no sense in trying. We need to go along with the protocol, because these are proven methods that are working to slow the spread. We're not going to stop it, but we have to slow the spread of this virus so that less people die as a result of it. So that's the reason why now today we have 38 million students out of their schools nationwide. South Carolina closed down their schools. completely as of Sunday. Governor ordered shut down. I believe that private schools, I think they still had that option, but I do believe that they've all shut down too. Says, do I believe in a 14-day lockdown? I'm kind of mixed on it. I'll talk about that possibly later on, or in another conversation with you. I'm kind of mixed on that because of the fact that right now, as far as I'm concerned, we don't know who's got what. What does the 14 days begin at? We don't know. 14 days from now? Well, what about those who already are walking around carriers? Okay. But I think that might be another preventive measure, though. That might be another preventive measure, Kurt. So, 38 million students out of school nationwide. Restaurants are being shut down. In many cities, I mean, totally shut down, along with malls and movie theaters. Here in South Carolina, we're not at that point yet. I do believe that here in Charleston County, the restaurants are not allowing are allowed to stay open, but as long as their capacity doesn't exceed the 10 people mandate, as far as any gatherings. And if you think about that, I remember last week it was first it was gatherings of less than 500, then that evolved into gatherings of less than 100 being prohibited, and then it went down to less than 50 being prohibited, and now it's down to less than 10. So, to me, common sense dictates that we don't even need to stop at 10. We need to say as few people as possible gathering at any given place in any given time, including our homes. And that's why our homes should be our sanctuary. You have to clean your homes too. You have to clean your homes too. Because this virus can be spread. That's right. Shelter in place. Stay at home. This virus can be spread. If you go outside and you come back in, it's being encouraged that as you enter your home, take your shoes off at the door and step in, because this virus can attach itself to your shoes and you can drag it inside of your home. And who are the closest people to the floor in your house? I don't even need anybody to answer that. You know who? It's them little ones. It's them babies. Okay? And you done drug coronavirus in on your shoes. This virus, this bacteria, it can sit on a hard surface, they say at least for 24 hours. At least. So please, okay, when it comes to the restaurants, some of them are doing takeout, or some are doing delivery. But ultimately, we do have a situation that we might wind up in, just as I believe that New York is there. I think California might be there. And it's called shelter in place. Okay, many municipalities have ordered to shelter in place. By shelter in place, they mean that unless you got anywhere to go that's absolutely important, like you're sick and need to get to the doctor, you got to go out for groceries, or you're a member of those essential service, them healthcare workers or law enforcement, if you don't have to go out, don't go out. Don't go out. You run the risk of two things. If you're contaminated, then you're going to contaminate others. If you're not, you can get contaminated and bring it back to your house. We must be smart about this thing, folks. We have to. We have to protect ourselves. We don't have options in this. When we look at the condition of Italy, Poland, Denmark, China, Israel, Iran, and the list goes on and on and on and on right now. These people shut down their borders, and eventually, I do believe if this continues in the path that it's going, the United States is going to have to shut down its borders. And why did they wind up at that point? And why will we wind up at that point? Because when we first heard about it, we didn't take it seriously, unfortunately. If we had taken it seriously when we first heard about it, it's sort of like when any one of us has the warning signs of a sickness, or us as African American males, we don't want to go get prostate exams or whatever. And so because of hypertension, we wind up now at risk of our lives because we haven't done what it takes in order to get ourselves checked. This is exactly what happened globally when it started in China. Others, Italy and all these others, were like, well, that's them. It's not that bad. It's the elderly people. It's just another flu and everything, until it came to their front door and it got started. And by the time they started to check it, it was already running the course. And they were saying, China was telling you, USA, hey, get ready now. It's coming your way. Italy, when it started progressing, USA, get ready now. It's coming your way. And we did the same thing. Oh, it's for the old people, and there it's just another little flu, and we'll get and this, that, and it's not that bad and everything. And now, Sunday we had 50 recorded deaths from the coronavirus, and as of today there are 106. It's doubled. So does that mean that 2 days from now it'll be 212? Or will it be more? Will it be 400? We don't know. So the things that have been put in place, the mandates that have been put in place by the World Health Organization, the CDC, about washing hands vigorously and frequently with soap, lathering up for 20 seconds at least, frequently. We need to be doing that. We need to be doing it. When we see each other, no shaking, no hands, no fist bumps, okay? Nah, no elbow bumps, okay? The preferred method of coughing is where? Here, in your elbow. And you're going to turn around and see somebody and say, what's happening? Lord. No fist bumps, none of that. The preferred method right now has nothing to do with touching whatsoever. No hugging. All right, church folks, no hugging. Stop it. It's too big of a chance of communicating. No touching of your face if you can at any way help it. Yes, we do need to. We need to be hydrating more. The preferred method of greeting one another now, it needs to be without touching someone. It needs to be like the Asians have done for years, this way, or you can just, how you doing, or just give a nod or toss it up, what's up, but that's it. And the social distancing indicates that when you do this, you should be at least 6 feet away from the next person. Because when we speak, there are droplets that come forth from our mouths, many of which we can't see. And those droplets, if we're infected, they contain the virus, and others will contract it because we will be transmitting it and they will be breathing it in. So even when we see each other, if we go to the store, maintain 6 feet difference from the next person. If anybody gets offended by it, man, God bless them. God bless them. If somebody reaches out to shake your hand and you say, no, I'm sorry, bro, I ain't doing that right now, maybe next year once we get past this thing or whatever, but right now, right on. You're going to help to stop this virus from spreading further. And of course, we have to make sure that we're eating well, okay, that we're hydrating. Drink your water. Folks, a lot of y'all know me. Folks, I'm drinking water. I'm drinking more water. A lot of y'all know me. Yeah. Goddaughter, what's happening? Carla, how you doing? Okay. A lot of y'all know me. I'm even drinking water. Okay. So hydrate. Increase your vitamin C intake. Okay. Get some emergency or something to increase your vitamin C intake. Alrighty. Elderberry. Drink that elderberry. Get some elderberry. And if folks jacking up the price, make sure you get in touch with law enforcement. Let them know. Let them know we got price gouging going on. Let them know. Yeah, William, give me a call. Okay, holler at your boy. Let them know. we need to make sure that we are, even if we must invest in things that will boost our immune system, we need to do it. And a great place to do it is over on Remount Road, 1418 Remount Road at Sacred Roots. Okay, you can go over there and see my man Ket was Hutep. Hutep, you can see him over there, Sacred Roots, 1418 Remount Road. That's one place where he has on hand some things that will really help to boost the immune system. We need to do everything that we can in order to make sure that we're fighting against this virus. Everything. If it means increasing our fluids, if it means eating better as well as possible in this situation, if it means staying inside of our household, if it means dropping our shoes at the door if we go out and not dragging this virus inside of our household, if it means standing 6 feet apart from somebody, if it means not shaking a hand or giving a hug, if it means staying away from church, do it. Do it. Because the more that we do the things it takes in order to not communicate this disease, the better our chances of slowing the spread of the disease. This disease don't care. It's marching forward. We need to put up a great defense. You see, I don't think that we'll ever actually get an offense against this disease. And the only way that we can have any kind of chance of winning this game is by having a great defense. Y'all feel me? I know it's a lot of football folks on here right now, for sure. Thank you, Julie, for putting up Sacred Roots. That's for sure. The link to Sacred Roots Facebook page is on. Thank you, Julie Hussey, for putting that up for me. Okay, great. Excellent. Now, on this last part of the subject, okay, The conversation originally was about old people that contract this virus, okay? But in recent days, it was said in a letter from over in Italy, just wait. He said she was just wait. The person that wrote it said, just wait. It's coming now. It's coming. And we're seeing 18-year-olds and 45-year-olds and everybody getting it. And if we look globally and we look at people that are respected in the American community, okay? Celebrities, what some of them call them. Let me talk about a couple of them, okay? And we look at the span of ages of those that have been diagnosed as actually having the coronavirus. Tom Hanks, 63 years old, and his wife, Rita Wilson, both of them 63 years old, diagnosed with coronavirus while they were in Australia. It's my understanding that they got treated and that they're actually out of the hospital now. But I'm talking about the age, okay? They're not 80 years old or 70 years. They're 63 years old. I'm 67. They got the virus. And that virus could have gone one or two ways, life or death, okay? Fortunately, right now, it looks like life, okay? Some of you all heard about it. For all of the ladies in the house, I'm so sorry that it might be a little bit of an upset, but Idris Elba has been diagnosed with the coronavirus. Idris Elba, 47 years old, my friends. He's 20 years younger than me. 47. How about NBA superstar Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant diagnosed with the coronavirus today. 31-year-old Kevin Durant diagnosed with the coronavirus. No, this virus, as the scripture said, is not a respecter of persons. It don't care who it attaches itself to or whose system it tears up or who ultimately it will lead to the grave without putting the proper mechanisms in place to try to prevent it. We must do that. Once again, frequent hand washing with soap for at least 20 seconds, frequently, not just in the morning, not just at night, not just before meals, in between those times. Find some water and some soap. Wash your hands. Don't just hand sanitize either. Get some soap on them. Real deal. Social distancing. If you're in a public place, first off, they're advising that the federal guideline is saying no gatherings of more than 10 people. If 10 people or under is acceptable as far as gatherings, okay? And even within those settings, that's right, immune boosters. in those settings, you need to be 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart. Good to see you too, Chris. All right. 6 feet apart. Social distancing, okay? None of that handshakes and fist bumping and elbow bumping and hugging and all of that stuff. No. That ain't the time for it no more. It's time to put that. We have got to do everything we can to stop this disease, this pandemic, this killer. We have to stop this. We have to make a goal line stand right now, even though it's at the 50-yard line. We need to act like they trying to run the ball. This thing is trying to run the ball past us. We need to shut them down right now, by any means necessary. Because our lives and the lives of our children and the lives of our children right now are at stake. Of course, the government is working on a vaccination. It's not there yet, though. And how long before? Right now we're having trouble even getting testing kits and things like that out to the community. How long? How long before we'll have vaccinations out to the community? And I don't want to get into the political nature of it, but how long before the vaccinations go from those who can actually have the privilege of getting the vaccinations up front to getting down to Ray Ray and Pookie and them? Message. But I think that the government has started to make some. That's right. Germs can travel 10 feet, up to 10 feet away from your house, from your body. That's right. And anybody within that range is susceptible. Okay. Right now the government, okay, the Congress is working on a $1 trillion bailout. Okay, for this, because right now our economy is suffering. Stock market went crazy because there's so much uncertainty. So before it crashes like that, what Congress right now, our Republican Congress, no doubt, is talking about doing is infusing funds into the population in order to make sure that we have money flowing in order to keep the economy boosted. So I don't know why they don't get it when we talk about Fight for 15. That's how it works. But they don't get that. We need people dying in the streets before they say, let's do it. Message again. But they're working on a $1 trillion bailout. Okay. Let's forget about Barack's bailout when they had all the issues with it. But this is different. Okay. They're working on a $1 trillion bailout. Okay. And ultimately what they're looking at. Okay. Let me tell you, this is what they're looking at is giving a $1,000 tax rebate or more for taxpayers. Okay. And they're talking about doing this soon. Now, I'm one of them folks. I ain't from Missouri, but I'm definitely from the Show Me State. When I see the check, then I'll believe that. Okay. But until then, I'm glad that they're putting this through, and I'm going to trust that they're going to. But I'm not getting ready to wait on that for sure. And there are those who will tell me, well, you don't like Donald Trump anyway. You don't support him anyway. I sure don't. But I'm going to take that money. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. I'm going to take that money. I ain't got to like a person or vote for them. As a matter of fact, I'm none of those folks that I'm not going to vote for you because you give me anything anyway. For sure. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to still vote for the Democratic candidate. For sure. This Pastor Dixon, y'all want to send him a note. Okay, I said that. So those are some of the things that the government is doing right now. The bailout is caused because they know, that's right, they know a recession is looming. That's right. Absolutely. Chanel, you are too true. Trust, you will have to pay that back. For sure. So I'm going to take mine. I don't know about y'all. I'm going to take mine. That's for sure. And move to Canada with it. I'm going to leave that right there. How serious is this, though? How serious is this whole thing? This whole thing is extremely serious, When we look at the possibility of military action in order to keep people safe from this virus. no matter how we don't believe that that will happen, there's always that possibility. I talked the other day about a video that I had seen where there was a guy that had been quarantined, forced quarantine. Okay, I don't know exactly how he got in the compound, but there was a fenced-in area with concertina wire around the top. It looked like a yard in prison, actually. And there was a vehicle, there was a law enforcement vehicle on the other side of the fence. And I think when he shot the video, he wanted to get it back there. And I asked the question when I was talking about it the other day, if that guy went to jump the fence, what do you think would have happened to him? Might have got shot. Might have got shot. Because the ability to contain and confine might just be that serious with the government officials. In Kentucky, there was a guy who was diagnosed positive for the coronavirus, right? And he was ordered to go to his home and to stay in his home. But now he hadn't made any preparations or anything like that. So he was like, I'm not staying in here. I'm going to get what I need to get and everything. I'll practice the protocol, but I'm going to need they put an armed guard in front of his house and would not let him out. It's that serious, folks. It's that serious. Should it be? I don't know. I don't know. I think on that one, for those that pray, we need to all pray that we don't get to that point where people are herded up into holding facilities or whatever, but it could very well come to that. Our hospitals are going to be overtaxed unless we see a miracle. Our healthcare workers are being subjected to the same viruses that we're trying to fight. How long before their immune systems are compromised? How long before they contract that virus and can't work anymore and need the services? It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot, people. It's a whole lot of chaos and confusion. It's a whole lot of negativity, and there's a dark cloud over the... I think it's so telling that here in the low country over the last 2 days, there's literally been a dark cloud over it. I saw the sun crack through for a couple of minutes today, but it's been a dark cloud literally a dark cloud over this area for a couple of days now. I think that's a sign of the times, my friends. I think that's a sign of the times. And you know, as I get close to closing, we have got to stop and just take stock of the whys behind this. And if not the whys, just what do we learn from this? Dr. King, in his final book, he titled that book something that's really applicable to where we're at right now. The title of it is Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? I flipped it. I said, chaos or community? Where do we go from here? Right now, we're in a state of chaos. Anybody feel it other than me? Feeling like, you know, the sureties of yesterday are no longer there? Feeling like getting up in the morning sometimes is a bit of a burden, as opposed to getting up in the morning expecting just a grand and glorious day? Feeling like what else can go wrong? Anybody else feeling like that? I know there are a lot of people that are feeling like that. Everything from the elderly, even down to our children, because our children know something is wrong. Something is wrong. Chaos. Chaos. But the question is, life coach, I think we waking up. Okay? We're going to have to wake up. I don't think we woke yet. If we were woke, we would have gotten a jump on this virus before it got here. We would have been implementing the things that we are implementing now 2 to 3 weeks ago, before it got here. It's called preventive medicine and preventive maintenance. It's like with our vehicles. We get things done to our vehicles not after they're broken down. We get things done ahead of time to prevent them from breaking down. And we didn't, if we was really woke, we would have been implementing things to counter this virus weeks ago. But we as a community ignored it. And we can't place the blame solely on our elected officials. They work for us. They work for us. Same like with the Democratic Party. What they've gotten away with, we've let them get away with it because we forgot that they work for us. And any employee who comes to work and wants to do whatever they want to do and they can get away with it, they're going to do it. If you're not held to what your position calls for. We did not hold the Democratic Party to what they're supposed to do. We haven't held the Republicans either to what they're supposed to do. And so we can't just say, okay, well, it was the government didn't do this, that, and the other. No, we did not hold them to the standard that we need to because we are the employer. They are the employees. Okay. But out of all of this, my brothers and sisters, and I'm not going to preach and I'm not going to stay on here too long. We have the ability to either wallow in chaos or create community out of it. There's no better time right now than for us to create community out of it. I've seen more people that are just as pleasant as they want to be now. People that were mean-spirited a few days ago. They're greeting people, hailing them across the street, trying to stay 6 feet away. People who at one point would not go out their way to help anybody now are helping people. Right now, we're sowing seeds. We're in a seed planting season where we're sowing the seeds of community. And ultimately, if we keep sowing those seeds, if we till the ground that those seeds of community are being planted in, and if we water it diligently in our hearts and in our souls, ultimately, in times coming soon, once we get up out of this chaos that we're in called coronavirus or COVID-19, once we come out of that, we will have a harvest of community. People who understand our responsibility one toward another and will work one for another. People who will not think it's only money so I can sell you dope. People who won't think it's all right to pay people slave wages. People who will look out for the health care benefits of others and the education of all of our children. My friend said, we woke. No, what's happening is this is a wake-up call. And if we do not take advantage of this wake-up call as it is, if we don't learn from this and use this as a springboard into community, into a life where we really are our brothers and sisters keepers, then we're setting ourselves up for failure for generations to come. Our children and their children's children will look back on us and what happened right now and say, wasn't that enough for them to get it right for us? Wasn't that enough? Why'd they do this to us? Why didn't they listen? Why didn't they create community instead of leaving chaos for us? Now is the time, my friends. Now is the time. As a believer, I believe in what the scripture says, and the scripture says that weeping only will endure for the night. Okay? Not the literal night or 12-hour night, not that, but for a season. Weeping will only endure for a season. And it goes on to say, but joy comes in the morning. And I believe that in due season that joy is coming. If we don't faint, if we don't grow weary, if we don't stop tilling this ground, planting those seeds, watering them, and looking toward the concept of community as being a reality in our lives and the lives of the generations that are going to follow. It's time. It's time. And this ain't no old folk thing. Y'all can talk all y'all want to. Yeah, I'll be 68 this year. But so what? I'm talking to millennials. I'm talking about the Gen X, Y, and Zers. I'm talking about those that ain't even been born yet. I'm speaking into the womb about this thing because it's time for change, people. We can't keep going through this. We can't keep treating each other wrong and expect for right to come out of it. It ain't gonna happen. And it's on each and every one of us to accept responsibility for it. And that responsibility right now starts with us adhering to the guidelines that are being put out. Those guidelines are there for a reason, in order to slow the spread of this virus. If we have to shut down our borders, if we have to shut down everything in our states and only leave out of our homes for specific important events or whatever, to go to the doctor, to go get grocery. If these are the things we have to do, we got to do them. Because now is the time for us to lay the groundwork for generations to come. And we do not want generations to come to look back at us and say, man, they let us down. They truly let us down. I reached out to somebody earlier today that I had a bit of a problem with. I thought I did. And I realized, though, over the last few days, it ain't that important. And I had to let them know it ain't that important. It ain't that important. Some on this live right now got issues with some folks near you. Parents, children, loved ones. Man, build a bridge. Build a bridge. Community starts by building the bricks in your own house. And the love is the mortar that ties those bricks together. Start building within your house. So after you leave out of your house, once we are able to move beyond, to start building community, the bricks that will be the community that will last forever. We have to train ourselves. We have no other recourse right now, my friends. This is it. This is it. Again, folks, holler at me. Holler at me. I'm gonna keep putting this message out about community. I'm gonna keep giving updates on what's going on. If you catch in the morning, and you can catch Anjanae Davis, man, he's putting out some great information too. There are quite a few people out here that's putting out some really good information. So please, I try to share as much as I can on my pages. I can't say stay woke, but I'm going to say wake up. Wake up. It's time for us to come out of the dark ages and move forward into a world that really takes care of one another, where we really care for one another. And if this is the wake-up call, so be it. So be it. I never want to see people die. I never want to see people sick. But if we don't learn in the aftermath of people dying and getting sick, that there's a message inside of there, not because of the message, but there's a message inside of there. Let's take that message and move on into the next millennium together, working hand in hand, heart in heart, forgetting about political parties and forgetting about color of skin and forgetting about religious denominations and orientation, or whether you don't have any. Forgetting about sexual orientation. Let's just love one another. Decide to not try to make people what we want them to be. Let's just know them and love them and respect them for whomever they are. Let's quit all this darn divisions and carrying on and get back to the reason that we were created. And that's to be community. Community, the village. The village. Listen, I got to go. Again, thank you to my healthcare workers out there, all of our healthcare workers out there. You all are amazing. Our teachers, man, totally amazing. Our law enforcement officers and folks that work in the fire department. That's right. We all in this together. Our elected officials, thank you for the work that you're doing, okay? I appreciate you. And do not forget, everyone. Wash your hands frequently, using soap for at least 20 seconds. Social distancing, if you're around people, stay about 6 feet away from them, okay? If you got to cough in your elbow, but remember, no elbow bumping, fist bumping, handshaking, and hugging, all right? Throw up the good to see you, right on, I love you, all right, peace out, okay? Do it that way. And let's minimize our contact in order to try to minimize the effect that the coronavirus, the COVID-19, is having on America. So ultimately, we will not pile up the body bags and go down in history as the worst pandemic ever to hit the United States and the world. Y'all take care. I love you all. I'm not going to do that thing there, that kiss the fingers and all of that. I'm not going to do that, okay? But you all take care. And I'll be back again soon. And remember, it's always darkest before the dawn. And no matter which way it goes, we're going to come out of this, and we're going to come out of this victorious. We can only minimize the casualties by what we do, but we're going to come out of it one way or another. Let's come out of it with as many of us as possible by doing what we need to do. You all take care. God bless you. I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.